Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today for our HawkSearch and Xngage webinar, Accelerate Your Optimizely On-Site Search. We're going to get started here in just a second. We're going to give everyone a couple minutes here to get joined in and get settled in. So you have time to go get that coffee, go get that drink of water, and we will get started in just a moment. Again, for everyone just joining us right now, we're going to get started here in just a few more seconds, just giving everyone time to get settled in. So looking forward to the conversation. Excellent. And thanks to everyone for joining us today. We're going to go ahead and get started now. Let me bring everyone into the screen here, and we'll go ahead and get everyone off mute as well. And so thanks to everyone for for joining us today. We are looking forward to getting started here. We've got a number of great team members here on the line. We're going to go ahead and get everyone brought in here. So excellent. We can see everyone here. Let's go ahead and do some quick introductions. For today's webinar, we're going to be talking about smart search and product discovery capabilities and some new innovations as well. We're going to welcome everyone to the event today. We're going to get started in just a moment here. We're going to do some quick introductions. While we're getting all these introductions out of the way here, though, let's go ahead and first also remind everyone that there is the ability to post questions to the chat here. We're looking forward to taking some questions at the end of this presentation, so please feel free to drop those questions into the chat. We will get those on the end here, and we will go ahead and highlight those at the end of the conversation to have some good discussion here. We'll go ahead and get started here with that with the introductions, though, and I'll pass it over to Gavin to kick us off.
Sure. Good morning, everybody. My name is Gavin Kearns. I am the VP of Sales for HawkSearch. Pass it over to Joe.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Joe Albrecht. I'm the managing partner and CEO of Xngage.
Hi guys, I'm Jeff Chial. I'm the VP of Strategic Partnerships here at Optimizely, and I'll hand it over to you, John, to wrap us up.
Yep, and I'm John Murcott. I run products for HawkSearch, and maybe I'll just kick off a little bit and say how thankful I am. Thanksgiving is coming up, and I'm thankful for this conversation, but also for the players involved, to Optimizely for the platform and great capabilities with an infrastructure that lets us connect, to Joe and the Xngage team for their expertise in that platform and connecting HawkSearch. And I'm thankful that HawkSearch can add additional functionality around search within Optimizely Configured Commerce. So we're looking forward to the conversation. Jonathan, back to you.
Yeah, excellent. And so we'll go ahead and get started. And I should say good morning for everyone on the call here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening for everyone that's attending us worldwide and watching this as well. We'll get started with the first question here. So I want to begin with a little bit of a background on the companies and why you're involved in this innovation. And why don't we start with Jeff and Joe on this one as well?
Yeah, from an Optimizely perspective, we've been talking to customers for a long time with our configured commerce solution. Search has been a hot topic, especially as the industry begins to innovate and continues to innovate in search experience. And so we're always looking for ways to answer the bell when it comes to our customers and their advanced needs. HawkSearch has always been a great partner that we've sat next to, and we've always wanted to create better innovation and an easier way for our customers to access that tool and get that motion. And so with the help of Xngage and the help of HawkSearch's expertise, we were able to do so. And so we're very excited to be able to not only resolve and answer when customers are asking, but open a technology path to be able to make that a reality a lot quicker.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think to add to this, our motivation really came from the fact that we obviously have a significant amount of optimizely configured commerce customers, and we are a pure services company. So we implement solutions, we integrate solutions into various systems, and obviously when HawkSearch and Optimizely announced the partnership around search, we were just as excited as other folks, and we felt there's an opportunity to build an accelerator so that our customers and also customers who are not with Xngage can benefit from a quicker time to value and a quicker implementation timeline.
Excellent. That's all great information. And Gavin and John, do you want to also help answer this question here and why you're involved in this innovation?
Yeah, I mean,
ahead,
John, no, by all means, John, go first. Yep.
Sure. Well, so the first part is whenever you have these partnerships, of course, you hope that the value proposition fits so well with their strategy. And that's what I'm so thankful, as I was kind of commenting before with Jeff and the rest of the Optimizely team, because they have a connector framework that lets a platform like HawkSearch come in. And I already said thank you to Xngage for supporting that. But the reason it works so well is we're not stepping on any toes. From Optimizely's perspective, they have a nice default kind of starter search implementation, but they understand that when customers need more capabilities, I'm going to be giving a demo later to kind of explain what that is, better search results, more capabilities, add AI to search results, et cetera, then it's a perfect scenario for us to come in. So whether you got started already on the default search implementation in Optimizely, or even when you get started, you want to use the connector, it's a very simple, what we define as a codeless implementation. Maybe the final thing to comment is sometimes when a company like HawkSearch may be presenting a solution to enhance a platform, it could come with a significant amount of services work and customization work, but the default connector just works so well because it is codeless. The indexing and the front end display come automatically once you deploy the connector.
Yeah, John, I want to add to that. I think there's a level of maturity too. And you speak to, these customers that are looking to go from that basic and move on. And customers that invest in platforms will want technology platforms that help them through that maturity curve. And when they're ready to approach search as the next big innovation to help increase sales and help move to that next level, it is like the readiness and sophistication to be able to talk about faceted search, to be able to talk about AI search as the next big investment that their company's going to do. And so, while we have had kind of a baseline offering that was very good as a starter kit, we now get to talk about like what does an admin-based, like more advanced functionality search bring to organizations, and bring in experts like HawkSearch who know how to have that conversation. So we're appreciative of that ability now to help point those customers in the future.
Excellent. Gavin, any closing thoughts there on that?
I mean, to be honest, that was all put into a really neat little ball. I'm pretty good there. Yeah.
Excellent.
Well, that sales guy, he's just happy to be here.
I'm just happy to be here. Yeah.
Mom and dad aren't fighting. This is great.
Well, let's
Seriously.
start to narrow this down and start. We've got a lot that we want to cover here, and so let's start with going through the lens of the current B2B customers, because obviously that's a very important market for everyone here. Jeff, can you help explain how the current Optimizely B2B configured customers are experiencing search as it exists today, and the need behind the innovation? You already kind of, I think you were laying the groundwork for that a little bit there in terms of, where people are at now and where they need to go and the conversations that we're having. But how would you say the current Optimizely B2B configured customers are experiencing search today, and where do you see that going behind that need for innovation?
Yeah, we have to bifurcate the customer list a little bit. There are a cohort of B2B commerce customers looking to enter the market relatively for the first time, whether they've had basic solutions or they've used homegrown solutions for a long time, where just the fact of adopting an e-commerce platform is big enough for them, where basic search capabilities as a function of their site are ready to walk in the door, and they don't yet have the capabilities to think about like what a more advanced search capabilities could bring. So for them, this is that opportunity once they reach that phase one completion, or once they go into phase two, to be able to look at that option, to be able to say, okay, what are we going to innovate on next? Is it better data? Is it, better UX, or is it better search and driving search ahead of the game? Because as we know, and as Hawk can attest, like search has become a primary facet for e-commerce experience, right? Your search is almost as important as your own UX in what you do, and so it's answering that bell. Now, there's also a cohort of customers who walk in the door and already know that sophistication, whether it's been their previous investment into that, whether it's search as a primary like driver of any e-commerce experience that they're going to drive. So it's not even lights on, it's perfection in completion. And with that, the ability to speak to point solutions that drive search as a way to walk at the door, and ones that have such a rich experience in B2B and that Hawk does, just simply checks the box and is able to give them even that starter or baseline experience that will put search first. So wherever they are in the curve, whether it's knowing that they have a more advanced like capabilities that are on the door, or whether they can walk in and use a point solution like Hawk in their original implementation, I think it gives them satisfaction that they're investing in a platform that's going to help them at whatever stage they are currently in their cycle.
Oh, appreciate that insight. That's really good information there. And I think that then kind of lets us talk about kind of the next steps, why HawkSearch and why Xngage have gotten involved in this conversation, while they've come to Optimizely, and while we've looked at kind of having this relationship there. Now, to that end, Joe, John, Gavin, you guys saw this change in that marketplace. You felt that the combined companies had the ability to make improvements in this space, just like Jeff was talking about there. So what did the teams create over there? And John and Gavin, I'll probably start with you first, this from the HawkSearch side. What was that presentation? What happened on your end of the equation there?
Yeah, for sure. I'll jump in first, Gavin, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
terrific. Yeah. So I mentioned it already, but just once again, thanks to Jeff and the Optimizely team, they already had the connector infrastructure, which means you put in our connector and it just starts working. The data, their products, et cetera, inside of Optimizely are automatically indexed inside of HawkSearch, and your front end, the search experience, the search bar, the autocomplete, et cetera, just works out of the box. But then to kind of Jeff's point is, when you're ready for that next phase, you need more capabilities, you need more sophistication. That's where HawkSearch comes in. So I'll give you a little bit of a laundry list of what some of those features are. The first one is always going to be relevancy. So is it finding the right product? I want to make sure that the products that are returned are accurate. So that's a strength of our platform, including the idea of I want to boost and I want to bury results, but with more capabilities that some of the default search capabilities of Optimizely come with. So boost and bury is often kind of the first need. It's more sophisticated. You have more capabilities there. But then when you start to go a little bit deeper, you get into AI. We have what's called an AI multiplier. We're looking at search activity. We're looking at what these people, the individuals on the site, are searching for, and we're also adjusting those results. So the results are getting better, both in terms of the relevancy, in terms of how you're configuring boost and bury, in terms of how AI is analyzing the activity. But then when you're taking the step back and you want to see, well, but how is this working? Like, what's going on underneath the covers? What we do is we explain, it's the literal term we use inside the interface that says, this is why I'm showing this product here, meaning HawkSearch is showing this product first, 10th, wherever it may be. These were all the inputs. It gives you a real great insight into what's going on underneath the covers. And then the final thing I'll just say is we have a nice analysis, the reporting of what's going on. What are people searching for? What are your conversion rates, et cetera? So it gives you a complete holistic view to everything that's going on, and let you tweak, adjust, and monitor the analytics as you're continuing to use the tool.
That's really good information there, and I think that lets us transition. Gavin will just move right by you there unless you had anything you want to add.
Yeah, that's the one part I was just going to jump into to kind of layer on top of what John was saying is that the ability to personalize as well through the shopping experience. It could be geographical, it could be per account, it could be per brand. So we have that capability just to layer in over top as well. So that was my last little input.
No, see, this is why we bring you on here to these conversations.
Yeah, that's why
because we have good little nuggets. Well, let's turn it over to Joe, because we haven't heard much from the Xngage team, and they're obviously very critical to this conversation and kind of where we've gone forward. So, Joe, what did your team create on this end to help that conversation?
Yeah, so obviously, we are really not that important in the sense that there's great capabilities in both platforms. But the question then is, how do you make these two work together? and still work with the same within the same context as the B2B platform, would work out of the box. So the important piece in creating that connection between the powerful AI search that comes with HawkSearch and all the great capabilities that are over there must be married with the great capabilities of Optimizely, which can control things like who can see which products, right? As you select a different bill to in B2B, you may not be seeing the same assortment as another customer or shopper. This is called product restrictions. Or you might want to search by your own part number that you have internally in your ERP system. And that could be a different part number than the one that is a part of the offering or the normal catalog. So if search cannot handle these aspects, these core B2B concepts, then it is not functioning despite all the great AI and all the great capabilities. So really, the core of our contribution, I would think, is to make both platforms work together, offer certain out-of-the-box capability in that, yes, very quick timeline in terms of getting the connector deployed, getting the connection working, and then getting the data flowing. There's two directions. Obviously, the product catalog data needs to flow into the indexing system of HawkSearch. And then on the retrieval side, it's all about bringing these results back into the Optimizely B2B commerce experience and honoring the constructs and the constraints that come with B2B environments.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting to see kind of everyone's different take on the different sides of this relationship here. And to that end, Joe, I think the most exciting thing, obviously, is that Xngage has designed and built a tool that integrates the search from HawkSearch into the Optimizely B2B configured commerce system. You want to talk a little bit more about that integration tool?
Yes, so it's we call it an accelerator connector. It is basically a piece of code or module, if you will. This can be deployed, and it will plug into the Optimizely ecosystem and infrastructure. It will run within the Optimizely hosting setup, so no other technology or services and servers and so on required. It can be licensed, so we decided to open this technology up to clients. Obviously, they will benefit from it, but also folks who are not working with Xngage and who would like to have the basic search experience out of the box plugged into Optimizely. They can then license this piece and deploy it, and it will make everything work. The same way the website search experience comes out of the box in terms of the storefront. So you have the browsing, you have the faceting, you have the PDPs, the PLPs. You have also, as I already said, all the capabilities that are managed by Optimizely, product restrictions and customer part numbers primarily. But on top of this, obviously, we also have integrated the analytics and data capture capability that then feeds the engine to drive more AI-driven use cases. So that will come in the release 2, and then the multi-site and multi-language capability will also come in the release 2. But yeah, it's really just a connection between the two platforms that makes everything work behind the scenes. And yeah, that's, I guess, it in a nutshell.
I like the way you downplay that. It's just a connection. Makes everything work.
Yeah, Joe made that sound so easy, didn't he? Yeah, it was fantastic.
But
another way to say it, Jonathan, is Joe's team did all the work.
Yes.
That's another way. Yeah, another way to say it.
Yeah.
Well, then let me open this up to everyone here on the call, because obviously this has a lot of implications and a lot of impact on the customers that we're talking about here. So what are the benefits of this innovation for B2B buyers? Let's kind of break this down. Kind of what are the benefits that people are going to see from this relationship, this integration, this connector? Gavin, I'll start with you, since you've been kind of the mushroom of the group here.
I've been the quiet one, have I? Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean the benefits. I mean there's the list goes on. So I mean from the B2B business side of things, the capabilities of personalizing it, the abilities to create kind of customized shopping experience for your larger accounts, being able to inherit the customer restrictions natively now into HawkSearch and be able to merchandise those all independently is really kind of the avenue a lot of the large B2B customers are looking to go towards. They want that, the ability to target and promote maybe certain items within their customers themselves. They might have brand specific, all sorts of things, maybe to increase average order volumes, or they want to build complete kits and previously bought that just opens up a really large kind of feature set that can help drive more business to their e-com platform. And just kind of finally, one thing we know is we see these large B2B platforms and customers, thousands or hundreds of thousands of products, but very low traffic at times. So they want to really take that traffic and help generate those larger order volumes for them, and making sure it's all relevant and the shopping experience is seamless. So yeah, there's a serious benefit to this integration. So it's great.
And Jeff, go ahead, John, actually.
I'll just add to that. In the end, it's conversions. That's what our customers care about. So when someone searches for something, and that is a really good indicator that they're engaged, like they're interested in information and products you have on your site. Are they clicking through to what they search for? Are the results relevant? And if they are, and this goes to a little bit of what Joe was saying, even downstream, like did they also add it to the cart? Did they purchase it, etc.? And then you take all of that information, that's what Gavin was saying before, and you start adjusting, doing machine learning, the results, so that you're getting better and better results. But in the end, we want to drive more of conversions for our customers.
I 100% agree. And Jeff, let's bring it back to the Optimizely point of view. What are the views from your end there in terms of this innovation?
It's fun because it's innovation built by advocates of both platforms, right? And in doing so, it's built with the best of both platforms in mind. It just doesn't work. It works with its best features in mind. And that's what Joe has alluded to in acknowledging, bringing in some of the more advanced feature set and integrating to be able to pull in the right factors of both platforms to make it work, so that when we're talking about bringing in HawkSearch, we can be talking about those advanced capabilities and not feeling limited by a customer type or by the scope of the integration or whatever it might be. And so it immediately lets us talk about like the art of the possible as opposed to the baseline MVP. And that's great because it will then hold notes to both items, and it will acknowledge some of the features of Optimizely's B2B commerce platform that allows customers to do restrictions in work, and it will then acknowledge the factor and value that HawkSearch brings in. And so in many ways, like this core group has come together to do the work in advance of the customer, not let technology get in the way of innovation. And so when we're talking about that joint value proposition, we really are aiming for the stars. And so that's why we're the most excited about the care that's been done with the work here, because I think it's helping those customers with the cost of ownership, the return on investment, like the speed to market and the speed to success that I think they're going to expect out of this.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. And Joe, any closing thoughts on that there?
No, I think it was nicely put by everyone.
Yeah,
can I add
can
to
argue
this?
with that. Well, then let's get into the next part of this. And so we've been talking about how there is this connector built and how we've had this great partnership, and there's been a lot of innovation in this space. And I think what would be good here, John, not to put you on the spot, but I think it would be great if we could do a demonstration of this so that everyone watching the webinar right now can get an idea of this innovation in real time. I'll go ahead and bring in your screen here so we can actually go ahead and see that. And we'll go ahead and put that up there on the screen. And just as a reminder, while we're at this point here, and while we're getting into the practical demonstration, again, if there's any questions, please feel free to go ahead and send those in through the chat. We're looking forward to having that conversation here at the end. But with that said, one more time, I'll just go ahead and pass it over to John to talk about the connector that we have built out here.
Great. And Jonathan, I know I'm stepping all over your toes because you are typically the demo master, but I'm looking forward to it. And this was always important from the beginning for us to have our environments. You're looking at stage, of course, but to have the environment and constantly be testing it. So even though I was kind of saying Joe's team did all the work, but we were always, straddling both worlds, which I'd like to do here. So obviously people who are familiar with configured commerce here, what you're looking at, as I was saying before, is your instance, right? So this is your instance. Most likely when starting, you're going to be doing this in a stage environment to kind of try it out and get a sense of how it works. But it's your categories, it's your products, etc. And that connector that we've been talking about the entire time is available down here in the admin section in settings and search. And here you go. So as Joe kind of mentioned, you install a small piece of code that provides those two important criteria that we were saying before. On the search provider side, so that means what you're seeing in the front end and the landing pages and the shopping cart, et cetera, still all works same as before. And on the indexing side, so those products that we were looking at before, as soon as you engage and do the indexing process, it's going to push it straight into HawkSearch. So it's built in. You get the default, of course, this is what you're getting from configured commerce out of the box, the Elastic one, but then you get the Xngage HawkSearch connector, and that's what makes the magic happen. Now, there is still one more part, which is you just need some of the configuration settings for HawkSearch. What's the endpoint? As I said, this is in our dev environment, your tracking key. But once you have this done, I was kind of commenting before, this is a codeless implementation. There's no more work to be done. It's now the search results, et cetera, are now going to be powered and driven outside of HawkSearch. So there you have everything inside of Optimizely, and it's set up just in moments by configuring these things after you've installed the connector. On the HawkSearch side, now you have access to all of our tools. And of course, if you really want to have some fun, Jonathan will go down into deeper detail for me. But the bottom line here is, at first, bringing over all the fields, as we were saying before. They come over, we grab some of the other components, which are what are the boosts, et cetera, coming out of Optimizely, but they all automatically create fields inside of HawkSearch. The facets that we were saying are all automatically connected. So no additional coding. The configuration setting pushes the data in. And now I have all the tools that I would want to use for configuring my information. So I'm just going to kind of show a couple. There's a million, but some of the highlights. So the AI multiplier that I was saying. So we're looking at the activity, we're tracking how it's working, we're using machine learning to help drive that relevancy in your search results. We have more advanced features and configuration options for autocomplete. We also have a feature called Instant Engage, where we can start driving results even as soon as you click inside of the search box. And we have additional options, spelling override, stop words, synonyms that go beyond the default settings there. And then when you get further into the capabilities, you can start talking about spotlights and campaigns, just other information you can insert and embed inside your search result. Now, the final thing I'll just highlight here is we also have all of the preview. I was kind of mentioning this before, where I can see what my results are. I can get an explanation. Why was this boosted? What was the score? I can get all of those details. And maybe the final thing I'll highlight is we have a robust set of reports. Which keywords are being searched? What's the conversion rate? Let me see what my top keywords are, et cetera. So we have a robust set of reports. So the data that we're tracking, as we were saying before, is used for personalization and relevancy in search results. But of course, it also gives you a nice high-level dashboard and overview of that data. And then the final thing just to highlight, of course, is, and this is just our fun sandbox account for doing the front end part, no additional work. As Joe said before, because of the way that Optimizely built the connector, all of your front end still stays to remain. You have your autocomplete, you have your search results, et cetera. So they're just better, if you will. They're boosted, they're buried, they're taking all of the additional inputs we were saying before to return these results. But the rest of the experience remains the same in the way that it was previously.
That's really exciting stuff. And there's a lot of features that I know from being on the demonstration side, like you mentioned there, that we can definitely talk about. But there is one that I want to make sure that we do cover, because when we think about this from the B2B perspective, Gavin, can you talk about how HawkSearch handles unit of measurement conversions?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I always like to kind of start of how people currently manage it. And that's normally, so, we look at a simple measurement as in length, for example, inch. You in most scenarios, we see customers with large catalogs, a lot of simple descriptions that come through from their suppliers. Nothing's really normalized, right? So you get, 6-inch could be defined in their data as double quotations, right? For example, but customers might search it on INCH, or if it's a 6-inch, maybe they search it on half a foot. And typically you see a lot of people having to manage this through large synonym lists. And it becomes like a growing list, which can sometimes take a lot of dedication to make sure it's being accurate for the search results. HawkSearch has a very unique tool called our unit of measure, or SIM, which we have a very large amount of pre-configured measurements, not only in length, but power conversions, parametric flows. It kind of scales from there, even to sounds and decibels, and really just helps normalize the data set within your catalog and help drive those relevant results for you, regardless of how people are searching. So I always like that kind of expression. A search is very specific. People do not search very specifically. So that's kind of a good little expression.
No, I think that's a good turn of phrase there.
Yeah.
That's definitely been our experience in this B2B space. So Jeff, let me move over to you now, because I think we've talked a lot about kind of how we can get this up and running very quickly, how there's the benefits that something like HawkSearch has provided, which you've graciously also talked about. But obviously you're optimistic about this technology, and since it helps drive these online sales, conversions, AOV. So from your end, how should clients be thinking about adding this to their Optimizely suite of tools?
I mean, it depends on where they are in their journey, right? Like there's a simple answer there to, like, if the technology wants to be trialed and you want to get into just start using it, that's directly contact HawkSearch, directly contact Xngage for technical questions, and get in and start using it and get access to the tools so that you can start using it. But there's also a practical side of it that is, a tool like this opens the door for bigger conversation, right? Without getting too like big or esoteric. Like, it allows you to start asking, like, what is the capabilities, what's the possibility of our search? And that could come with contacting your CSM at Optimize. It could come from even bringing in Hawk and Xngage, just to say, here's a list of things that I want to make sure we fix, to make sure that we can tune the tool and speak to the tool's capabilities in the right way. And so if the appetite is there, be open to that conversation as you're approaching the tool, to make sure that the right boxes are checked. And to finish, like, we all know everybody's site is unique. You all have your own capabilities and challenges in the way that you build your catalog. And we want to make sure that up front, whatever methodology that you use to build your site and your product catalog is answered correctly, because that's the biggest fear of innovation. It's, have we done certain things in our own implementation that will prevent us from using the tool? And we want to make sure that question's answered up front. So again, you want to get started today, HawkSearch, Xngage are your way to go, whether it's technical or product innovation questions. But if you want to talk more strategy, I think all of us here at the table are willing to sit down and make sure that the fear and the questions are out of the way so that you can move forward.
Excellent. Well, I know, appreciate that insight there. And I know we're at kind of the time here, but I want to get one more question out to Joe and John, because I think it is important here. So between Joe and John, you're already thinking about what's next, because we want to, we're wrapping up here. We want to make sure that we're giving everyone back their time here. But where's the evolution of this innovation? We've already got a lot of great functionality on both ends of the equation here, but where is this going from here? And Joe, I know you mentioned this actually a little bit in the earlier, kind of the next phases. Maybe I'll lean on you first to start this conversation. What is the next steps here for this innovation?
Yeah, so definitely, I think currently we're working on the multi-site support and multi-catalog support, meaning if you deploy multiple optimizely configured commerce web properties on the same instance, you typically have the desire to merchandise and sell different products across these different sites. And so we can then handle that, as well as multilingual capability. And then we add additional advanced analytics tracking to support some of the more advanced AI. We already have basic tracking to help with the boosting and all these aspects, but there are some advanced analytics tracking capabilities that still need to be harnessed, and that's what we are currently working on as well. So I think, yeah, that's going to get us to a place where we can say that obviously the search functions out of the box at that time. The third thing that is something we have on the longer term horizon is making the assets such that it can be further customized and extended. That would be for advanced, very mature clients who are looking to modify search to their needs, maybe add additional data points that are not currently contemplated within the Optimizely HawkSearch world. That kind of customization would be something that's not supported at the moment. But I think for now, just bringing all the great capabilities that are there in HawkSearch and Optimizely out in an out-of-the-box solution, that is the goal.
That is very exciting stuff. And John, we'll let you kind of have the last word here. What are the next steps of this innovation from the HawkSearch side?
Yeah, and so to play off the point of capturing as much of the responses, of course, we want to make sure the experience is good, but there's so much insight that we can take from the conversions, the click-throughs, et cetera. And I mentioned a few of them. We can go into more detail, but running that through machine learning, even converting content into vectors, et cetera, is where we think even more relevant results will come back. So more AI and more machine learning on these responses is the big answer to where are we going with the platform.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I want to make sure that we are being respectful of everyone's time here, and unfortunately, we did run out of time for questions, so we do appreciate the ones that were submitted. We will be following up with you offline to make sure that we're getting the answers to those. Really do appreciate everyone's time. Jeff, Joe, Gavin, John, thank you so much for taking the time today. We do, of course, want to leave you with some next steps here. So let's go ahead and talk about what you can do next if you're interested in knowing more. There are 2 QR codes that you're seeing on your screen here right now. Obviously, the first one, you can scan that. It'll take you right to how you can book a demo with HawkSearch. Maybe you can hear a little bit more from me in that process there. But we can also, of course, there is the next QR code there where you can connect with Xngage. Obviously, they're a very smart group of people over there delivering a lot of great innovation and wonderful people to work with. And of course, Jeff from the Optimizely side, if there's any questions there like he highlighted, please feel free to reach out to your Optimizely CSM. We'll be more than happy to kind of direct you down this process if you're not sure where to start. Again, thanks to everyone for taking the time to join us today. We are looking forward to the future here. Everyone have a great day.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.